Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias. There are some open tags that kind of, they're circular. They come back around. I believe this time it was the an open tag on lockbacks. This is not the first time I'm doing this kind of open tag. I believe the first time I did it was about 3 years ago, and it was an open tag that was started by Williams Knife Life. I believe this time the open tag was started by J.O. Ventures. Now, Williams Knife Life, the way he was doing it, he had a small lockback and then a medium lockback. There might have been a large lockback. I don't know. I don't see me doing a recording on the large lockbacks. But in any case, this one is just lockbacks in general. And well, the last time I did it was about 3 years ago. So I thought what I would do was give a little bit of an update. Yeah, you're going to see some old favorites, but also a lot of these knives I believe I have not shown on the channel, or if I did show them, they were only shown briefly. And all of these are some kind of lockback. Someone had mentioned when lockbacks had begun and stuff. Yeah, it definitely was not something that started with the Buck 110. There were lockbacks before the Buck 110. Matter of fact, some of the earliest lockbacks are, well, I know they go back at least to the 1830s, and I suspect they go back even many years beyond that. But in any case, let's get started with this and take a look at some lockbacks. And I believe I'm going to start right here with a trusty favorite of mine. This is my Falcon 6-inch Stiletto, or 11. How long is this thing? It's a big stiletto. Yeah, 6 inches closed, about 11 inches overall. And this is out of Italy. Olive wood handles. You got the Falcon there. And as you can see, it does have a lock on the back, but it's not what most people think of as a lockback. You can kind of see the bump there. But still, that is what locks the blade right there. The button on the back, and nice drop on this blade too. I can actually open and close this one-handed. Falcon Italy, a beautiful lockback. Not the typical thing you think of when people hear lockback. But most stilettos do have a lock on the back that holds the blade open, and you have to depress it to close it. Just like the same kind of thing you have to do with the Buck 110. You have to push down on that little button, even though it is even with the handle. And so there is a lockback. And speaking of which, I've got this in pearl and abalone. I'm sure you guys have seen it before, or some of you have. This is where I'm talking about these knives. Lockbacks go back all the way to the 1830s or so, because this is actually a replica of an 1830s folding Dirk. And you notice the bump there right in the mid, you know, a mid lock. And that is what locks this blade. It's a beautiful knife. Like I said, I also have it in pearl. Push down on that, and you release the button, and the blade can close. Unless you press down on that, though, that blade is locked back. So it's pretty cool. Let's move on to something you probably have seen, but I just wanted to show you both of them because I've got the Taylor Moonshiner. And I believe, is this one Rough Rider? I believe this one is Rough Rider. This is Rough Rider, the white-tailed deer scene. This was given to me by Warthog. I can't remember if I purchased this one or if someone gave it to me. I can't remember. But both of them are really cool. I have to admit, I really like the Moonshiner scene a little bit better than the white-tailed deer scene. And a lot of people look at this and go, where's the deer? Where's the deer? There's the deer. See it? Kind of tail there. His head is facing towards the front and everything else. But unless you're looking for him, it's easy to miss the deer on the scene here. Just looks like a forest. Cool thing is you open up the blade and you got the little forward finger choil there. You got the little finger hole, so you're definitely not going to slip up on the blade and such. And you can obviously use it backwards, so you can slip your pinky in there for stabbing and stuff too. Stab either way. Got a back lock going on, pretty strong back lock. And these are just kind of cool knives, something you don't see every day, so I thought I'd break those out and show you those. Two of the, I think these were designed by Parker, they might have been designed by Taylor, I don't know. Either way, they're pretty cool. This one has actually got the moonshiner etch on there, and this one is out of Japan. The other one was out of China. The Rough Rider's out of China, this one's out of Japan, so a little bit older. Both work about the same though. So we got those two there. And here's a big mama for you. This is my, I think this is Hammer brand, folding Bowie. And it's got a more traditional lock there, a mid lock right there, and a big old Bowie blade here. And a nice clip blade going on. And you see there is by Hammer brand. This is also, I believe, out of China. This is the HB1. Nice Stag handle going on there. And then you've got the half horse, half alligator going on back here, which is pretty cool. Even though it does look like it's mostly horse in this case, but it's supposed to be half horse, half alligator, I believe. In any case, a very traditional design from around the 1830s or so that they're replicating here. And you notice now the lock has an easy open cutout or an easy press cutout going on there, which is a more common thing you see today, but apparently this is a copy of a knife from around 1840, and they were doing it all the way back then, so this is nothing new, the idea of a lockback, especially the mid lock. And big old honking knife there. We'll set it back here too. And let's see. Oh, one of the old favorites. You will always see this knife anytime somebody says lockback. I hear, did somebody say lockback? Oh yeah, I got to show you this. This is the Rough Rider 078. I've got a few of these. Nice pearlwood handle. It's patterned after knives that are made in Moki, Japan. But this is one of those knives that just has some of the sexiest lines going in my book. I just love this knife with the harpoon blade. Got the saber grind there, got the long bolster and the burl wood here. This is just a beautiful knife. And the knife that I keep saying Rough Rider really needs to bring this knife back. This knife is just absolutely stunning, and they really need to bring it back and consider numerous handle materials on here. This is definitely, if not my favorite, it is within my top 5 of lockback knives. This is just a beautiful knife, and just really great. I love this knife, but I wouldn't marry it. For one thing, that would be bigamy. I'm already married. All right, let's get that one out of the way too. I'm going to make sure you can still see it when this is all done. Well, I already grabbed this one. Let me show you this one. Hunter Pro Hunter. I keep getting it confused. Swiss made. This is the red A-Locks one, and this is discontinued. I think they basically discontinued this knife, and they came out with a new version of it that has a thumb stud. That's basically what they did with it. So before you had to pinch it open, there was no nail nick in there. They have come out with a new version of this with a thumb stud. I really like this knife. I know a lot of people don't, but I think it's pretty cool. It just feels good in the hand. You got the mid lock on the back, so you can press and release the blade. I love the finish on that blade. You've got the satin finish. I believe it's 4116 stainless steel. That's one of the things that people were complaining about. It's like, for the price of it, it should have better steel. A lot of people say the same thing about the Buck USA 110 that is using 420 HC and goes for what, 60-70 bucks, and a lot of people will say for that price they should be using better steel. When they do use better steel, it goes a whole lot higher. Any case, that's the Victorinox Midlock or Lockback Pro Hunter, Hunter Pro. I always get it confused. It's one of the two though. As long as we're looking at that, here's a knife that is very similar to this. This is a very early, what is this? The Gerber Easy Out. Again with the midlock, FRN handles, very classic. You can't open it one-handed because it has a hole there, a thumb hole of type, but it works pretty well. Get that thing open all the way. You've got about 2/3 serrated and then fine edge all the way at the top there. You got a little space there if you really want to put your finger there. I don't think that was really designed as a choil, but you can use it as one. It did come with a pocket clip. It actually had the pocket clip when I got it. I have since lost the pocket clip. This was given to me by a friend, and it's a pretty cool knife. I have on occasion thought of giving this knife away, but I keep saying, no, you know what, I'm going to keep this knife. It's pretty cool, and it's one of the earlier Gerber Easy Outs, but I really like it, so we'll put that there. Here's one you don't see every day, and this is in the Outdoorsman series. They actually made 4 different versions of this. This is by Rough Rider. This is a canoe lockback, but it's also a knittler because it has 3 blades. If you see there, it's a canoe whittler, but it's also a lockback. You've got 3 back springs going on. The middle back spring is for the main blade, which is a pin blade, or I'm sorry, a Spearmaster blade, and it has a lock. So that blade will lock. It's the only blade that locks on the knife, but it's pretty cool that you have the lock there in the middle. And then the other 2 blades you have on here are a secondary pin blade, and then the very classic coping blade for the canoe whittler or a knittler. So it's a cross between a canoe and a whittler. This is a little smaller than your classic 3.5 inch or 3 5/8 inch canoe. I believe it comes in right at 3 1/4 inches long. So I think that's what it was. Yeah, just barely, like, no, not even. It's just 3 inches long closed. So a small canoe whittler lockback. And they made these probably about 10 years ago, I'm thinking. They came out with one in Yellow Delrin, the Outdoorsman series, a red jig bone, and I think the other one was a red, an amber jig bone, I think. I can't remember. I have all 4 of them. They're in the drawer right now. I am not going to go and grab them all, though. Just wanted to show you one of them. Definitely something to be on the lookout if you're a Rough Rider fan and you're looking for some of the older patterns. This one is really cool, and it's in the Outdoorsman series. Let's see here. Now these next 4, they're all about the same size, and these are like the small folding hunters. This one is by Camillus, and it's I think it's the Cyber Lockback was what it was called. I do have a video on it. And these use old computer boards or telephone switchboards, something like that, but that is the handle material going on. Williams Knife Life actually looked at this, and from what he was seeing on here, he knew what kind of machine this actually came out of. But it's basically leftover plastic for computers or electronics and stuff. And Camillus got a bunch of it and turned it into handle material, and they had 2 different knives on it. This is the less expensive. This is the Cyber 2, I think. That's why it's number 2 there. These were made in the waning years of Camillus. I do have a video on that, and it goes in more detail on exactly what they were. but it's just those little small folding hunters that are made on a 3 1/4 inch frame, I believe. Is that right? Let's see here. Yeah, overall length is just shy of 5.5 inches, so 5 3/8 of an inch. Got the blade that is 2 1/8 inches long, and then the handle is, yeah, just over 3 inches, so maybe 3 1/8 inches, something like that, or 3 1/16 of an inch. Not a really big knife, but this size frame is very common in small lockbacks. Here is another one that is almost on the same size frame. See, a little bit different, a little bit more style to it, but this is the Eagle Eye by Frost. This is one that I do recommend if you're looking for those Eagle Eyes by Frost. The ones made in stainless steel are not that bad at all. They got a little heft to them. They also have some that have like bone handles, and yeah, bone handles. Those look okay too. The cheap ones that are just all plastic, that you come in the big jar, and are, you know, you can buy them for like 75 cents or so. Those are exactly what you're getting. These cost a little bit more. They go for around $6 or $7, but they're much more solid knives with a better grade steel. Some are even listed as 440 on the blade. So, and you got the Eagle Eye there, so you can open it like, well, can you? Not really, but you can grab it and open it. You can't flip it open like you can a Dragonfly. We'll talk about Dragonflies in a minute. Another one I got, I think I've shown this one before somewhere. This is on basically the same frame as this knife. You can take a look right there. eBay is calling me. About the same size frame there. See that? Almost same size all around. And let's open the blade on this one too, and open the blade here. Do knives look similar? Very much so. The difference though, this one is by Sharp, and 440 stainless out of Japan. This is a pheasant knife. It was the pheasant lockback. I picked it up because of the pheasant motif on the outside of the knife. I kind of like these metal knives that have some kind of work going on them. I like the ones that are equal in pen knives a little bit better, but I have started running across more and more of these, and when I see something like this, I grab it and pick it up. And that's another one of the knives here, and I don't think I've shown this one, but I found this one and grabbed it too. This is a hunting scene. You see the hunter over here. He's got a coonskin cap on, and he just shot a deer, and the deer is down, you know, so big buck down, I guess. Same style of blade and everything else. This one, does it say there? It says Explorer 11 351. This one is also made in Japan. No, is it? Yeah, this one is also made in Japan. So pretty cool there too. Same exact knife, basically, same blade, everything, just a different scene. And then this scene has, on the back side, you got like dogs, and they have cornered an animal that might be attacking a person. That's what it looks like there. See, there's the person being attacked, and then dog, and a dog, and it looks like a bear. Yeah, a bear attacking a guy. And so I had to pick that one up because, well, you know, we all know we don't want to be eaten by a bear, and we hear about that all the time. So I saw this knife and it's like, ah, man, how can I not grab a knife of a guy being eaten by a bear? So I had to grab that knife. I'm sure Yakima Bob will just be thrilled to see it. Let's see, another knife, something, well, off screen here. I have meant to show this one a couple times and I never got around to it. The main reason I'm breaking it out now is, well, because, well, 2013, that's when I got the knife. I actually won this on iKnife Collector, but it was a in the waning days of Knives Live TV, Josh Hill, Tony Watkins, and Jay Parker Jr. Signed some boxes, and they sent it to iKnife Collector as giveaways. It was a promotion they were doing with Knives Live TV, and I actually won one of the knives. So I have a knife that came in a box signed by Josh Hill, Tony Watkins, and Jay Parker Jr., who were at that time the hosts of Knives Live TV. This is the CT502. People have seen this knife in probably the Rough Rider lineup. It is the Colt Titanium, and this is black smooth bone. You've got the Colt shield, that is the signature shield there, or logo shield, with the Anaconda C going on there. You got the pinched nickel silver bolsters. It is a liner lock, and you have the whole finger neck or nail neck, you know, so you can grab it from either side, which is a cool thing too. And just a really nice looking blade. Look at the nice recurve on that blade there. It's a beautiful little knife. Nice swedge going on. Not your typical small lockback, but it's a pretty cool one. And I think I have seen this knife show up again in the Rough Rider lineup. I am not certain about that though. If you feel here or look closely here, you will see that there are also 3 finger grooves there. So the knife just drops like that, and it's a really cool knife. But as cool as the knife is, the really cool thing for me was the box. So I keep the knife with the box because it kind of all goes together. I had mentioned dragonflies earlier, so I should probably break those out. I'll show you just 3. I've got about 8 or 9 dragonflies now. The one you usually see is the Zome green one. That's the one I carry all the time. This one is an H1 steel. H1, which is, I think it's a nitrogen-based steel instead of a carbon-based steel, which is why it is so resistant to rust and everything. And it's a pretty cool knife though. You've got the yellow FRN with the black accents on both sides. It is a Dragonfly, so it is fairly easy to open, and you have a hawkbill blade here. So this is definitely designed to be a small rope knife when sailing or when out in the boat and everything. So definitely with the serrations going on there and the shape of the blade and everything, got a really good rope knife here, and fits the hand really nice. And thought I'd show you that one real quick. Another one, when I think Slick Slicers was doing his lockbacks, he also showed this one, the tattoo. I love the tattoo. This is a really cool looking Dragonfly. It differs from the other Dragonfly 2s that you run into, in that it is closer to the original Dragonflies in build and everything, specifically. And if you notice here, you have no jimping here, you have no jimping here either. So there's no jimping on the blade, but otherwise it is like a Dragonfly. You got the Bowie dent down there, you got the nice little mid back lock or mid lock on there. This has a single position pocket clip because of the work on here, and this is all engraved, and then the anodization process is inside the etch, so it's not going anywhere. But just a really good knife. I really like the Dragonfly. And then the final one I have here is glow in the dark. Yep, I have a Dragonfly that glows in the dark, and so that's pretty cool too. And this is a Dragonfly 2, as in number 2, Dragonfly 2. A little bit different than the original Dragonflies. I really need to update that video on the original Dragonflies, but I do have a video that goes all over that crap. Couple other knives here, let's see. Now this next knife is from a company called Jet Air. This actually belonged to a friend of mine who passed away, and after he passed away, his family gave me this knife along with several other knives. This is probably one of my favorite out of the bunch, even though there were also a couple case knives in there, simply because of how cool this little knife is. It's not a big knife, as you can tell, 2.5 inches long maybe, so a little bit bigger than what you see in a classic SD, however much thicker and everything, and you have a locking blade there because it's like, you know, a little lockback. And well, here's the blade. You see here, it was made in Japan. It's got the jet air symbol on there, and then when we get it all the way, well, let's turn it around first. See here is Jet Air Corporation, Paterson, New Jersey, 07524 USA. The 07524 is not the pattern number. That is actually the zip code for Paterson, New Jersey. If we open this up all the way, we can kind of see on the blade here that, if I can read it here, it says G96 Knife Maker's Choice number 806. So this is the number 806 by Jet Air. Basically a little lockback. They also made this in a single layer. They have a single layer version of this that just has the lockback blade. If you notice, when it's all the way open, it's right at 4 3/4, a little less than 4 3/4 inches. Overall length of the blade is just shy of 2 inches with an 1 3/4 inch cutting edge. The secondary tool on here is actually a pair of scissors, which is pretty cool. And the scissors work pretty well too. So it's kind of an interesting combination to me to have a pair of scissors and a cutting blade on a knife this size. So often what you find on knives like this is not a pair of scissors so much as a cap lifter or something like that. But I like this knife because of the scissors. Also, it's a fond memory of a very good friend of mine. Winding my way down, I'll break this one out again. This is the Husky. This is the house brand of Home Depot. It is just a nice, inexpensive knife that you can get at Home Depot and other places. Husky is their house brand though. It's a pretty cool knife and a nice little lockback. And you know, I think it uses 420 steel, but gets the job done. Nothing fancy or expensive about it. Another large lockback. I saw this online. I probably should not have bought it, but I got it for a steal of a price. And this is the Panther 2, and very truck stoppy. You got a lanyard hole here. You notice the lockback. It's just curves right in. A nice little back lock going on. You have the cross guard up here that is molded in place. I think this whole thing is just probably very cheap pot metal for the entire handle on both sides. You do have a stronger stainless steel back spring, and then the blade is your what do they call it? Vanadium stainless steel out of Japan. So who knows what that is, but it is made in Japan, and it's very reminiscent of like the 1970s, 1960s, you know. And this handle is as heavy as can be. And despite that, got blade wobble going on and everything else. I guess I could take a hammer and repeen this pin a little bit and see how that works, but I just bought it late at night. It was one of those guilty pleasures, finding something like that, and it's like, man, at that price, how can I pass it up? So I went and bought it. This one, not so much a guilty pleasure and not nearly as cheap as the Panther 2. This is a grandpa knife by Camillus in the brown Delrin. Now this frame is used for more than just this knife. This is basically a 5-inch lockback that Camillus uses, and they make this frame, if you notice, looks like you see this, that's one spot for a lockback, and then you see the cutout here. It's like, why do they have a cutout there? Because sometimes they will make a 2-bladed version of these knives, and they will have a second release back here. So, but this happens to be a single bladed version, but they use the same frame. And this one has just your basic clip blade. I have seen other ones that have a serrated blade or a saw blade, and that is released through the back lock here. I do not have one of those. I'm going to have to get one though someday. I bought this because, well, it's got the grandpa shield, and this is one of the later made Camillus knives. Camillus, New York, you see there. This was made after 1997, something like that. Anyway, this is made in the waning years of Camillus, and you got the grandpa shield on there, the Delrin handle, but a pretty cool knife. Nice big old 5-inch lockback, brass pins, brass liners, stainless steel. I believe the blade is 440A, and got the brass lanyard loop in the back, or brass lanyard tube in the back here. Man, so many knives, and some of them are getting buried that I didn't want to bury. Let's get some of you back out there. All right. Next to last knife is going to be this one here. This is by KaBar. It is a hobo knife, or a knife, fork, spoon, or a take apart knife. And if you notice, right down the middle, something locks. And well, what you can do is, it's like I said, it's a take apart. So can I do this? Spoon comes off, got a spoon. Fork comes off, and you got a fork as well as a cap lifter. Kind of a straight fork, but that's okay. And then right down the middle, you have a lockback knife. Nice little clip blade. And you see the lock there, holds up really well. Usually you don't have a locking main blade on these take apart knives, but KaBar did that, and it's pretty cool. And this is not a bad little lockback. The cool thing about it is you can actually take it apart while all the tools are apart, or while all the tools are closed, and snap it back together with all the tools closed. Something you usually can't do. And once this thing is closed or opened, you know, once it's put together, it holds together pretty well. So I'm kind of happy with this one. It's as hobo take apart knives go, this one's pretty good, and it's all stainless steel, which means very easy to clean up and everything. I believe it is probably 420. It might be 440. I don't know for sure. Okay, I need to interrupt myself here. I just edited out where I said that I believe these are not being made anymore. They are indeed still being made. You can find them at SMKW. You can find them on Amazon. They are also readily available in eBay. So if you're interested in this one, and it's a good one, they go for about 25 bucks, and they're readily available in numerous locations. Back to the video. Has a little, you can feel a little wobble in it and everything else, but it does hold together pretty well, and you know, you just don't see them that often. So thought I'd break out the KaBar Hobo, come on, with a lockback knife smack dab down the middle. And the cool thing is you don't have all the bumps here. It feels good in the hand. You do have the bumps here, but it's not nearly as bad. And those bumps would be more aggravating when cutting. So definitely kind of like the KaBar Hobo knife. And I don't think I really ever have shown it. Let's put it back together again. And for the last knife, this is kind of a sneak peek. I'll be doing a full review on this knife very soon. But seeing how you stuck around this long, let's take a look at this one here. It's my latest in the Rough Rider Reserve lineup, and this is a knife that I regret not buying sooner because it is really cool and it is really big. Look at how big that thing is. And that is the Swish, the Rough Rider Reserve Swish, which is a what do you call it? A swing guard knife. But this is no ordinary swing guard knife, I'm telling you right now. See that? How loose it is here? Watch this. That thing is rock solid. It does not move at all now. You don't usually see that in a swing guard. I don't even think you see that on the case swing guard. But this one, you know, the case cheetah, that guard is loose. But is that a big monster of a knife or not? This is the RR019, I'm sorry, RRR019 Swish in black micarta. Big handle, definitely a big handle, big blade. I will be talking more about this in the future. Got a blade that's right at a little over 4 1/4 inches, close to 4.5 inches long. And overall closed length of the knife is big, no doubt about it, 6 inches. So, I'm sorry, 6 inches closed, but over 10 inches open. So, but we'll be talking more about this one in the very near future. But that is my most recently purchased lockback knife, the Rough Rider Reserve Swish. So, hope you enjoyed this ramble through a bunch of lockbacks. If I were to pick 3 or 4 that, if someone were to say, show me your lockbacks again, 3 or 4 that you would definitely probably see again in the near future would be the Swish, my little Rough Rider here, this knife, or the one that's in mother of pearl, and once again a Stiletto, and obviously the Dragonfly, because the Dragonfly is the lockback that I carry with me all the time. In any case, with that said, I will let you go, and I will talk to you again soon. Let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with Tobias. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.